This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
Books, PD products, science, fashion, and glam talk. From Bollywood to Hollywood, it's Meet and Greet with Dr. Afshan N.Hashmi, right here on K4HD Radio and Talk4 TV. And here's your host, international speaker, educator, award-winning entrepreneur, and best-selling author, Dr. Afshan N.Hashmi.
Hello everyone, this is your loving host Dr. Afshan N.Hashmi, live from a studio in Rockville, Maryland, and this is live meet and greet with Dr. Afshan N.Hashmi, which comes every Tuesday at 6 p.m. US Eastern Time. And before I dive into today's topic, these are my two books. The first one is The Modern Mughal Mentality, New Strategies to Succeed in India and the Global Marketplace. And the second one is The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection. For my first book, I want a documentary to be made. So all those documentary producers, please contact me at afshan@drafshanhashmi.com. The second one is The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection. And when this book came, it came before COVID, and in a very creative way, I have said what can be actually done about bioterrorism and how bioterrorism works. So this is that. Having said that, folks, now I want to start the show by reading something from the study Quran. I like to read from the Holy Quran, and if you want, you can buy this. It is available on Amazon. So today it opens with the spider, and it is called Al-Ankabut. God outspreads and straightens provision for whoever he will, serves as a transition from the discussion of God as creator to God as sustainer. Here that the disbelievers would surely say God indicates that just as they acknowledge a supreme creator, so too should they acknowledge that God provides for them. Nonetheless, they fail to draw the proper conclusion because most of them understand not. God's ability to revive barren land also stands as an argument for his ability to resurrect. This world is also described as naught but play and diversion. So this is indicating the rapidity with which it dissipates. So this is just little bit from the study Quran. And just now I got a message from some Muzaffar Hussain, and he said it's good. I would rather, it should not come on the screen, and Rebel, please look into the matter. Having said that, I have given instructions to my sound engineer Rebel, and she has only the power to tell me what the comments are. I don't like comments popping up like this with whether it is good or bad. So whoever you are, Muzaffar Hussain, or whoever you are, please refrain from coming into this thing through radio signals. And how did you get my link? Having said that, folks, now I will go on a break, and Rebel, please play the first sponsorship movie.
Hello viewers around the globe, this is Dr. Afshan N.Hashmi live for her radio show at K4HD and Talk4 TV show, and I just wanted to request you that please give me sponsorship if you want this show to continue. Having said that, friends, I will see you in another episode of K4HD Radio. plus talk for TV show. And if you give me sponsorship, I will give you very reasonable price, and also you will get lot of promotion, as this show is syndicated worldwide to more than 300 million listeners. Cheers and bye bye.
So, folks, now let's dive into today's topic. And today's topic is what is the US election, and how could, if people are telling you, I'm getting calls and through radio signal, not of noise and pollution, that vote for this president, vote for this president. Even, I'm a public personality, so even I got a threat, that if you don't vote for such and such candidate, Miss Kamala Harris, then, we will kill you. So those kind of threats I am getting, so I would like to address Miss Kamala Harris, the VP, that why I am getting these kind of threats, and who are these people, who are giving this threat. And please, President Biden, President Trump, and Madam Kamala Harris, please look into the matter. And there is not of noise pollution. In fact, someone, hacked my account by name of Muzaffar Hussain, and he is saying good. Who is he to say good? If he wants to be a co-host on my show, I have, this is my show. Whether anybody gives me money for this or not, it will be my show, and it will be my discretion that whom I want to bring and whom I don't want to bring. So I'm telling you, Muzaffar Hussain, never hack my thing. Having said that, folks, now let's see the overview of the presidential election process. The process of electing a president takes almost 2 years. Learn the steps that result in the election of a US president. When is the next presidential election? An election for president of the United States happens every 4 years on the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November. The next presidential election will be on November 5, 2024. What is the typical presidential election cycle? The presidential election process follows a typical cycle. Event. Candidates register with the Federal Election Commission to run for president. While there is no federal lines to register, there are other requirements. So this is from a site called Federal Election Commission, United States of America. So this is because many people, they want to know that whether they can register for a presidential candidate or not, and what is the requirement. So, and this show gets syndicated worldwide to 300 million listeners. Re- Registering a candidate, and there is lot of illegal activity going on. My other computer, I cannot log in. There are lot of cyber threats going on before the computer on my other computer. So I luckily I had another computer, so I am giving it from this one. An individual running for federal office must register and file financial reports when he or she raises or spends more than $5,000 in contributions or expenditures. Federal candidates must designate a principal campaign committee. This campaign committee takes in contributions. This campaign committee takes in contributions and makes expenditures for the candidate's campaign. Candidates may designate additional authorized campaign committee to help raise and spend funds, but only a principal campaign committee is required. The first step that follow cover specific topics to help an individual register as a candidate. Taking in receipts. Receipts are anything of value, money, goods, services, or property received by a political committee. Authorized committees take in all the receipt for a candidate's campaign. Receipts include both contribution and other forms of support. Once the treasurer or authorized agent receives a receipt, he should he or she must deposit it within 10 days. Contributions not deposited within 10 days must be returned to their donors. Having said that, folks, now I will ask Rebel, my sound engineer, to please play the next sponsorship movie.
Hello everyone around the globe. This is Dr. Afshan N.Hashmi and with K4HD Radio and Talk for TV. And dear friends, I am live from Maryland in a country club, and I just wanted to say that please give me sponsorship if you want these shows to go on, because it takes lot of effort and money to produce these kind of shows. Having said that, friends, please give me sponsorship, and cheers and bye bye.
Registering as a candidate. So this I have already read. And now making disbursements. While campaigns have wide discretion in deciding how to spend their funds, the Federal Election Campaign Act places certain restrictions on the use of campaign funds. An expenditure is a purchase, payment, distribution, loan, advance, deposit, or gift of money or anything of value to influence a federal election. Disbursement is a broader term that covers both expenditures and other kinds of payments, those not made to influence a federal election. All disbursements are reportable by the campaign. Disbursements must be made by check or similar draft, including electronic transfer drawn on an account maintained at the committee's designated depository. And now I will ask Rebel to play another sponsorship.
Hello everyone, this is Dr. Afshan N.Hashmi live from a barn country club in Virginia, and I just wanted to say that my K4HD radio and Talk 4 TV show called Meet and Greet with Dr. Afshan N.Hashmi is syndicated worldwide and has more than 300 million listeners. And if you want these shows to continue, please give a sponsorship, and I request to please give a sponsorship because these shows require a lot of energy and money to produce. So I would request everyone to give me sponsorship, and your product will be promoted in a very reasonable price, and you can contact me at afshan@drafshanhashmi.com. Cheers and bye bye.
So I'm sorry, Muzaffar Hussain. You wrote a comment on Facebook, and I don't know the technicalities of Facebook that you were watching on Facebook. So it is fine. It came here directly, so there was a technicality. I'm sorry about it. My apologies. Handling candidate loans, debts, and advances. A loan from a person or committee to a candidate or political committee is a contribution to the extent that it remains unpaid. Once repaid in full, a loan no longer counts against the contributor's contribution limit. Unlike other loans, bank loans are not considered contribution if they are made in the ordinary course of business and on a basis that assures repayment. A corporate vendor may extend credit to a political committee in the ordinary course of business and under substantially similar terms offered to a non political committee. However, it may not extend credit for a longer period of time that there is normally practice in the creditors. Trade. So now, folks, I will go on a break, and this was little bit, handling candidate loan, debts, and advances. So this was the site. And now, folks, I will go on a break, and Rebel, please play the next sponsorship movie.
Hello viewers around the globe, this is Dr. Afshan N.Hashmi live for her radio show at K4HD and Talk 4 TV show, and I just wanted to request you that please give me sponsorship if you want to want this show to continue. Having said that, friends, I will see you in another episode of K4HD Radio plus Talk for TV show, and if you give me sponsorship, I will give you very reasonable price, and also you will get lot of promotion, as this show is syndicated worldwide to more than 300 million listeners. Cheers and bye bye.
So now, folks, it says Electoral College. The Electoral College decides who will be elected president and vice president of the US. Learn who is involved and how the process works. What is the Electoral College? The Electoral College is not a physical place. It is a process which includes the selection of electors, meeting of electors who cast votes for the president and vice president, counting of the electors' votes by Congress. In other US elections, candidates are elected directly by popular vote, but the president and vice president are not elected directly by citizens. Instead, they are chosen through the electoral college process. The process of using electors comes from the Constitution. It was a compromise between popular vote by citizens and a vote in Congress. Who is in an electoral college? Each state gets as many electors as it has members of Congress, House, and Senate, including Washington, D.C.'s 3 electors. There are currently 538 electors in all. Each state political parties choose their own slate of potential electors. Who is chosen to be an elector and how and when varies by state, and you can go to this website and read about it. And now, Rebel, I'll go on a break. Please put the next sponsorship movie.
Hello everyone around the globe. This is Dr. Afshan N.Hashmi, and with K4HD Radio and Talk for TV. And dear friends, I am live in Maryland in a country club, and I just wanted to say that please give me sponsorship if you want these shows to go on, because it takes a lot of effort and money to produce these kind of shows. Having said that, friends, please give me sponsorship, and cheers and bye bye.
And folks, now I have on a site vote.gov. And here it is, Guide to Voting. One of the most important rights of American citizens is the right to vote. Voting gives you the opportunity to help shape your community. And here I would like to say through this platform that whoever I will vote is my decision. And please don't force me to vote for this candidate or that candidate. I am a neutral person, and I have my own data of what the presidential candidates have done, and I will vote according to that. When and where to vote? Most states and territories offer flexible options to make voting work for your needs. Here are the options that may be available in your state. So now, friends, I will go on a break and will be back soon.
Would you love exposure for your business, product, or service to over 300 million potential listeners? Send an email to info@talk4media.com. And now let's hear from some of our sponsors.
Chapter 2: How Jugaad leads to multi-sector success stories in India, including definitions of the Jugaad management principle business model. Of the book, The Modern Mughal Mentality, New Strategies to Succeed in India and the Global Marketplace. Inspiration. True Jugaad is an inspiration on how to create products using technology that meet the price-value equation. According to a Harvard Business Review article featuring expert Prahlad and Mashelkar, most innovation programs are built on the assumptions of affluence and abundance. We see the rich and the young in both the developed and the developing countries demanding environmental friendly products and services. business. They also believe that affordability and sustainability are crucial to driving successful business today. New technologies and radical business models are important not only to penetrate mass markets in India but in the entire world. By reconfiguring all areas of the business structure, they will full.
A monstrous infection is spreading worldwide. OMG, is this a simple infection or a deliberate attempt to ruin the human population? Or maybe it's bioterrorism. What is this global infection and who is spreading it? Help us find out. Go to Amazon and search for The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection. The human race needs your help to make this go viral. Go to Amazon.com and read The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection to find out what happens next. Go now! The world is depending on you.
And now, back to Dr. Afshan Hashmi's radio show.
When and where to vote. Most states and territories offer flexible options to make voting work for your needs. Here are the options that may be available in your state. Voting in person. Most people who vote on election day must vote in person at a voting location. When you arrive at the voting location, you will see election workers ready to help you. You will vote by selecting your choices on a paper ballot or by using an electronic device. Find your voting location. The opening and closing times for voting locations vary by jurisdiction. Check with your state or local election office if you have any questions about your voting location. And this is vote.gov, I told you. Early voting. Some voting locations are open before election day. Check if your state or territory allows early in person voting, or check with your state or local election office for early voting dates and rules in your area. Voting by mail and absentee voting. Some states conduct elections entirely by mail. Others allow you to ask for an absentee ballot. If you are unable to vote in person or simply prefer to vote by mail, each state has its own guidelines to check, see if you are eligible to vote by mail in your state. How to return a mail ballot. By mail, in some states and territories, ballots come with a prepaid return envelope. In others, you need to add postage to your envelope before putting in the mail. Be sure to completely fill out your return envelope before sending. Drop box or in person. You don't need a stamp if you return your ballot to your local election office or an official ballot drop box. Many use drop boxes, but their location and availability may vary. Check with your local election office to find your nearest drop office. Learn more about voting. Learn about your ballot. Learn how your vote affects your community so you can make an informed decision. Many election offices post sample ballots online. Some also provide information online by mail about candidates and ballot measures. Check your state or local election website for more information. Voter ID requirements. Each state and territory sets its own voter ID rules. In most states, you must bring your identification to vote in person and provide ID information when you vote by mail. Check your state's voter ID requirements. You can get an ID card at your state motor vehicle office. Even if you do not drive, you will need to pay to get an ID card, but there are organizations that may be able to help with ID related fees. You do not need a voter registration card to vote. Language support. Now, my question is, there is so much of shenanigans played in last election, like the two candidates, President Trump and President Biden. President Trump was not consenting, and it was President Biden who became the president. What did you change this election cycle. What if the one of the candidates doesn't consent? It is so disturbing in your head, and so much noise, that if you have voted for candidate A and candidate B, then it should be announced like it is the spirit of election. Because there are so many illegals in this Montgomery County who come from, I don't know from where they are coming. There are so many one kind of people. Are they here for, and they are doing all kinds of criminal activities, and I have reported them to the authorities, but nothing is happening. What is going to happen if there is illegal voting? One should show their driving license, or something, that you are that person. This is like a third world country where anybody can vote in it. When I was in India, many times I would go and they would say that your vote has already been cast. Is this the system which will be now prevalent in United States? Because India is given, I am originally from India, I love India, and now I live in America. So why those kind of techniques from India is coming to United States? And there should be a real fair election. And how could a fair election take place? I would like to know about it. And my email, Afshan at Dr. Afshan Hashmi. If you have any comments regarding this, please do comment, and I will answer those comments to the best of my ability, or forward it to the authorities, Federal Commission, who's responsible for election. So having said that, folks, now I will go on a break and will be back soon.
Would you love exposure for your business, product, or service to over 300 million potential listeners? Send an email to info@talkformedia.com. And now let's hear from some of our sponsors.
A monstrous infection is spreading worldwide. Oh my God, is this a simple infection or a deliberate attempt to ruin the human population? Or maybe it's bioterrorism. What is this global infection and who is spreading it? Help us find out. Go to Amazon and search for the outbreak of a monstrous infection. The human race needs your help to make this go viral. Go to Amazon.com and read The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection to find out what happens next. Go now. The world is depending on you.
The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection, Chapter 1, 1964 to 2018, and this is the sample track, and it is read by Dr. Afshan N.Hashmi. In a sprawling bungalow in Potomac, Maryland, USA, lived Dr. Honey Singh, a board-certified internal medicine and family practice physician, along with his beautiful wife, Baby Singh. Baby Singh was a fashionista and was funding women's causes through her Honey Babe Foundation. She had a ladies' book club by the name of Baby's Glam and Glitzy Club, which had many glam and glitzy ladies who were professionals living in Washington, D.C., Potomac, Maryland, Virginia, and even Beverly Hills, California, as well as elites from all of America meeting at her place on the last Wednesday of every month, discussing various aspects of charities they wanted her and Dr. Honey to fund. In this club, there was a wide spectrum of career women. There were doctors, lawyers, actresses, business owners, and models, to name a few. In these book club meetings, members would come prepared after reading a book of a famous woman author, and that author was even invited from any part of the world to give her presentation, followed by a Q&A in this prestigious and elite gathering.
And now, back to Dr. Afshan Hashmi's radio show.
So, language support. If English isn't your primary language and you want to vote in a different language, you can ask for help. Contact your state or local election office to find out what kind of support is available in your language, such as voting information and materials, such as ballots in your language, a poll worker who can communicate with you in your language, including American Sign Language, a family member or friend who can help translate for you at your voting location. Accessibility accommodations. If you have a disability, you have a legal right to accessible voting materials such as ballots in large print or audio formats. If you are voting in person, you also have a right to accessible voting equipment and accessible voting location. If your state elections website or voting location is not accessible, you have options to request accessibility accommodations. Reach out to your state or local election office. If you are having trouble accessing your state's election website, you do not have the accessibility accommodations you need at your voting location. If you believe that you were discriminated against based on a disability while voting, report your experience to the Department of Justice (DOJ). Find more in-depth guidance on voting with a disability. So the question is like in state primaries, my husband could not vote, and I have his because he was in the hospital. So what is the thing for them if and I have his power of attorney, but they did not let me vote for him. So what are the requirements for that? I would like to know, because because he is disabled and incapacitated and he cannot walk or go out of home. So what should I do? And also he cannot write because he has induced Parkinson and dementia. So in those conditions, what I should do. I don't want to forego his vote. And I would love, Attorney General Merrick Garland to give us some thoughts on that. Having said that, folks, now I will go on a break and will be back soon.
Would you love exposure for your business, product, or service to over 300 million potential listeners? Send an email to info@talkformedia.com. And now let's hear from some of our sponsors.
Chapter 2: How Jugaad Leads to Multi-Sector Success Stories in India, including definitions of the Jugaad Management Principle business model. Of the book The Modern Mughal Mentality, New Strategies to Succeed in India and the Global Marketplace. Inspiration. True Jugaad is an inspiration on how to create products using technology that meet the price-value equation. According to a Harvard Business Review article featuring expert Prahlad and Mashelkar, most innovation programs are built on the assumptions of affluence and abundance. We see the rich and the young in both the developed and the developing countries demanding environmental friendly products and services. They also believe that affordability and sustainability are crucial to driving successful business today. New technologies and radical business models are important not only to penetrate mass world by reconfiguring all areas of the business structure they will pull.
A monstrous infection is spreading worldwide. OMG, is this a simple infection or a deliberate attempt to ruin the human population? Or maybe it's bioterrorism. What is this global infection and who is spreading it? Help us find out. Go to Amazon and search for The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection. The human race needs your help to make this go viral. Go to Amazon.com and read The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection to find out what happens next. Go now! The world is depending on you.
And now, back to Dr. Afshan N.Hashmi's radio show.
As a new citizen, you have the opportunity to take part in US elections. Voting is your right and a great way to make a difference in your community. Registering to vote is the first step. Before you can vote, you need to register. Once you have registered, you can vote in state, local, and federal elections. You may have already registered to vote at your naturalization ceremony. If you are not sure, you can check your registration status online or visit your local election office. You may have also received a voter registration card by mail. If your name or address has changed, you will need to update your voter registration. If you haven't registered, don't wait. You can register to vote anytime after your naturalization ceremony. Make sure you are officially a citizen before registering. If you are not a US citizen yet, you should not register to vote. Non-citizens, including permanent legal residents, cannot vote in federal, state, and most local elections. Registering to vote before you are citizen can affect your citizenship. How to register to vote? You have options for registering. Each state and territory sets its own rules for registering to vote. You may be able to register online. Most states offer online registration. Select your state or territory to find out if you can register online. Register by mail. You can download and print the National Mail Voter Registration Form for use in every state except New Hampshire, North Dakota, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. The form is available in many languages, and here it is. Register in person. You can register in person at your state or local election office or your state motor vehicles office. Find voter registration deadlines. There is no national voter registration deadline. In some states, the last date to register is 30 days before election day. In other states, you can register on election day. Election day refers to any election, local, state, or a national election. Find voter registration deadlines in your state. So here it is. And now, folks, I will go on a break and will be back soon.
Would you love exposure for your business, product, or service to over 300 million potential listeners? Send an email to info@talkformedia.com. And now let's hear from some of our sponsors.
Chapter 2: How Jugaad leads to multi-sector success stories in India, including definitions of the Jugaad management principle business model. Of the book The Modern Mughal Mentality, New Strategies to Succeed in India and the Global Marketplace. Inspiration. True Jugaad is an inspiration on how to create products using technology that meet the price-value equation. According to a Harvard Business Review article featuring expert Prahlad and Mashelkar, most innovation programs are built on the assumptions of affluence and abundance. We see the rich and the young in both the developed and the developing countries demanding environmental friendly products and services. They also believe that affordability and sustainability are crucial to driving successful business today. New technologies and radical business models are important not only to penetrate mass markets in India but in the entire world. By reconfiguring all areas of the business structure, they will pull.
A monstrous infection is spreading worldwide. OMG, is this a simple infection or a deliberate attempt to ruin the human population? Or maybe it's bioterrorism. What is this global infection and who is spreading it? Help us find out. Go to Amazon and search for The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection. The human race needs your help to make this go viral. Go to Amazon.com and read The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection to find out what happens next. Go now! The world is depending on you.
And now, back to Dr. Afshan Hashmi's radio show.
So, folks, voting for a felony conviction, voting after a felony conviction, and here it is. The information on this page is for people who have a felony conviction. If you have a felony conviction, your voting rights may be restored. It depends on your state or territory laws and the details of your sentence. Contact your lawyer or court representative to confirm that you have completed your sentence and met the conditions of your release. You can also contact a local advocacy group that works with formerly incarcerated people. They often have lawyers available to help. The Department of Justice DOJ Guide to State Voting Rules After a Criminal Conviction. So this is the thing. Can help you understand your voting rights. The DOJ Guide gives state by state information about specific crimes and other factors such as probation and parole that can affect your right to vote. The DOJ Guides also includes information for people who have a conviction other than a felony, such as a misdemeanor or arrest. Registering to vote before you are eligible to vote can result in criminal prosecution. Journal guidance by state and territory. So this is here. Every state and territory has different laws about voting after a felony conviction. Here you will find journal guidance about your ability to vote after prison. There may be extra steps you need to take based on your conviction, felony offense, and other details specific to your scenario. Your right to vote is not affected by a criminal conviction in these states and territories: Maine, Vermont, District of Columbia, and Puerto Rico. And I'm very surprised why it is that your right to is not affected by so that means, as a criminal you can vote. So this is really stupid. Having said that, folks, now I will end this program, and I want you to give me sponsorship because this show is syndicated worldwide to 300 million listeners. Having said that, folks, now I want to remind you that these are my two books, and for the first one, The Modern Mughal Mentality, I want a movie to be made, a documentary to be made. So all those documentary producers, please contact me at Afshan at Dr.Afshan.com. And if you want the rights of this book by a big company, I can sell the rights of this. The second one is The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection, and if you want to buy the rights of it, I can give that. And also, if you want, I want a movie or a web series to be made out of it. So all those movie and web series production people, please contact me at Afshan at Drafshanhashmi.com. And if you want a sponsorship for this show is syndicated worldwide to 300 million listeners, so worldwide. So, and just imagine how much you can get sponsorship with. And you can go to my website www.afshanhashmi.com, and there you will see how much I'm charging for sponsorship and all. Or you can write to me and I will make a deal with you. And having said that, folks, cheers and bye, and see you in next episode of Meet and Greet with Dr. Afshan Hashmi.
You've been listening to Meet and Greet with Dr. Afshan Hashmi on K4HD Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in live right here every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Would you love exposure to your business, product, or service to over 300 million potential listeners? Send an email to info@talk4media.com. And remember, if you miss any part of this show or want to hear it again, find our featured show on iHeartRadio or YouTube, where all past episodes are available on demand 24/7. See you next Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on K4HD and Talk4 TV.